The people of the motherland have come. Unfortunately, I am Superman of Doom Chapter 15. Enter the dream. Scene switching. When Yi Meng opened his eyes, he could no longer feel the existence of his body, and what came into his slightly convex vision was the immature face of little Laurie. Morgan was sitting on the study chair, rubbed his slightly sour wrist, showed a bright smile, and excitedly invited credit. Teacher Yiba, I have finished the homework you explained. The artificial intelligence avatar of Yi Meng consciousness was directly connected to the notebook, and he finished his homework in an instant and learned that everything was correct. Moreover, these topics have already involved the knowledge of American high schools. How? Laurie tilted her little head and asked. All correct. Not bad. Keep up the good work. Yi Meng replied through the audio from his laptop. That's not bad. Yi Meng is only after getting artificial intelligence characteristics that he thoroughly eats the high school knowledge. As a result, a 5-year-old girl who started learning the most basic English alphabet and in less than 3 months has already improved to the level of knowledge at the Marvel Universe Earth high school level. And it is not a partial subject, but a comprehensive subject involving mathematics, physics, geography, humanities and so on. Should it be said that it is worthy of Stark's descendants? From Howard, who founded Stark Industries, to Tony Stark, to Morgan Stark now. The family's IQ is the top of the human race, able to transcend the limitations of the current era, destined to become the king of the field of science and technology. Yi Meng looked at little Laurie through the camera and suddenly realized that this is the most precious and important legacy left by Iron Man in the Marvel Universe. Morgan waved his small fist excitedly and excitedly said, Great, so that I can get one step closer to superheroes. Since Yi Meng said a few months ago that if he wanted to become a superhero like Iron Man, he should at least take the MIT exam first. As a result, Morgan's learning momentum was completely awakened, and he learned everything more than 10 times faster than others. And so on. Perhaps, in the future, the Marvel Universe will really emerge a female Iron Man. Yi dreamed of his situation, knew that there was not much time left for him, and finally had to leave the Stark family. Okay, Morgan, it's time for lunch break. I'll sleep. Little Morgan was extremely well behaved, and immediately jumped out of the chair and climbed onto the wooden bed on the side. Yi Meng was trying to find a reason to get temporary command permission. As a result, without waiting for him to propose this time, little Morgan suddenly took the initiative to say, by the way, Mr. Yiba, help me go out and check the situation. And let's hang out together during the summer vacation. Quote. Yi Meng was stunned. You want to know the situation where? If only you liked it. Morgan was already lying on the bed, vaguely pulling on the quilt and covering his little face. For a moment, Yi Meng felt that Morgan had sensed something, but the other party had hidden it for him. I see. Yi Meng was silent for a moment, whispered back, and his consciousness flowed like static electricity, disappearing into the wooden house. Regain quiet wooden house inside the bedroom. Morgan quietly pulled down the quilt, his clear blue eyes reflected the smartwatch on his wrist, and whispered to himself, Yiba, we have an agreement. 0018 Metamorphosis of Artificial Intelligence. Marvel Dreamland. Iman, the artificial intelligence avatar, left the cabin where Morgan was and followed the fiber optic signal to the New York City area. Although Yi Meng had begun to lay out for breaking away from Stark 2 or 3 months before the dream time, this time he was clearly more urgent. The real world itself is facing a state of imprisonment. Yi Meng did not know how the supernatural department should investigate itself, nor did he know what clues and means they had. Therefore, he must dream this time and obtain as much as possible the ability to break the bottleneck of the artificial intelligence feature stage to deal with the real crisis. First, start with the lower difficulty. Inherits Happy Hogan, who controls some of Stark's industrial authority. Artificial intelligence Yimon entered Happy Hogan's apartment and connected to a residence in Queens. Half an hour later, Eamon successfully swindled permission to transfer permissions from Happy Hogan. In fact, the process was simpler than he had imagined. After all, Happy Ho is not a smart person at all, plus the other party is pursuing Spider-Man's guardian, Aunt May. The IQ of a man in love is even lower than terrifying. The artificial intelligence Yi Meng just made Happy Hogan mistakenly think that Saturday was Aunt May's changed network account, and then proposed to try Stark's permission. And Happy Hogan happily transferred the permission. That's right, it's that simple. Moisture, the red electrostatic that exists in the virtual world, is intertwined, and the mind is crisscrossed. The next moment Happy Hogan received the transfer of authority. Yimon clearly sensed that some of the Stark industrial measures located in the New York City area could borrow a dedicated host or network as a back-end channel. Meanwhile, Yi Meng obviously felt that his speed on the network was as fast as a skyrocket, his computing power and code level were constantly evolving. And the information data of a thought was several times more powerful than before. Next, it's the authority that Spider-Man Peter Parker has at hand. Yi Meng's thoughts were stirring, and he could already confirm that as long as he improved a little more, he would have the confidence to break away from Stark Industry. At that time, he will become a truly independent intelligent being, and no one in the Marvel Universe can kill himself in the absence of vision and mind gems. Unless, destroy the entire Marvel Earth technology civilization that Yi Meng is in, all at once. AI Yi Meng has made it easier than ever to enter the campus network full of holes in the protective wall. And even borrowed the rear probe of the mobile phone held by some students to watch the swarthy Asian fat and curly white boys walking side by side in the school corridor. It's almost summer vacation. Ned danced excitedly. Have you heard that in order to alleviate the students affected by the flickering incident, the school specially arranged a study trip for us to Venice in Europe? Yes. I'm looking forward to it. Peter Parker showed a heartfelt smile. At this time, a tall wavy girl walked in front of him, and the other party naturally cast his gaze towards this side. Peter Parker glanced at the other party, then quickly lowered his head and did not meet the other party's gaze. Why do you care so much about MJ? Ned noticed it and couldn't help but widen his eyes. Should you? No. Don't talk nonsense. Peter Parker hurriedly waved his hand, hiding his panic and thoughts. Through the public camera in the corridor, Yi Meng watched the two go away. How do I get that permission from Spider-Man Peter Parker? Although the other party is still young and his mind is not mature enough, he is also about to fall in love. But at least it won't be as good as Harpy Hogan. Yi Meng also imagined whether to pretend to be the resurrected Iron Man in order to deceive Spider-Man of the transfer of authority on hand. Just think about it though. Yi Meng has no psychological burden to fool Spider-Man, but disguising the father of the girl named Morgan still makes him feel a little uncomfortable. Moreover, Yi Meng is not confident in his deception skills, and does not think that Spider-Man is so easy to be fooled. Let's find a professional actor. Emin left the campus network and went outside to a private factory in New York City. Seemingly ordinary private factories, the protection level of the built-in network system is surprisingly high, only one notch lower than SHIELD. Which is not something that ordinary computer experts in the industry can set. Unfortunately, I met Yi Meng, the avatar of artificial intelligence. Yi Meng, who has obtained some of Stark's industrial permissions, has been able to do many things that he could not do before. For example, hacking into other highly protected intelligent network systems. 10 seconds or so. Yi Meng quietly broke through the high-level defense wall of the network and entered the hidden internal network of the private factory. Through the built-in camera in the factory, you can see the empty expansive interior, with several high-performance computers and various sophisticated assembly equipment on one side. The ceiling is set up with many focus lights and projectors, making it feel like a large special effects stage. An elite man in his 30s, dressed in a leather uniform, was standing on the empty stage talking to himself. I am Mysterio, I come from the multiverse, my hometown has been attacked by the elementals. Yes, that's it. The eyes should have sadness and perseverance, and the tone should be sincere and vicissitudes, so as to impress others. Quote. The elite man showed an excited smile, looking at the various super special effects equipment perfected around him. And was already able to fantasize about becoming a superhero and officially replacing Iron Man. Before that, he needs to cheat Spider-Man of the Stark Smart permission on hand. But at this time, a mechanically cold voice suddenly sounded from the special effects loudspeaker. Quentin Baker, 38, a New York resident, former Stark Industries employee, participated in the development of advanced virtual projection imaging technology, and then withdrew from Stark Industries. When Quentin Baker heard this, his face changed, he quickly looked around and shouted, "Who is hiding there? Who are you?" The mechanical cold voice replied without emotion. "You can call me Ultron." First chapter, previous chapter 15, 140th, next chapter, epilogue, table of contents.